right. I think we should be live with a much choppier setup than anticipated. But hey, guys, we're live now. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues. We were going to go live with a different method, but it wasn't working. So now we have a little grainier camera and a slightly worse mic, but we're still here.
Taking it back to 2006.
Yeah, it's like the MySpace era. Hey, what's up, Miles? Can you guys tell us if this is like at least decent audio and video quality? I know it's not great, but we just want to make sure that we are, it's not total garbage and you can hear us and it's not just like trash. That's the ideal. Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Has anyone heard us yet?
How's that?
All good. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just go with it. So yeah, we're just, if you guys don't know, this is Roland. Not usually in my live streams, but he will be in many of them moving forward.
Which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, so we're just here to, I picked up some records at the record fair, which I can show you at some point if this really dies. But we just wanted to be available to answer questions about opening a record store because we are in the process of doing that. And we're excited about it. We want to talk about it. We want to share our strategies and like our thoughts and
our fears,
our hopes.
Thanks, Lisa.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. Yeah. And thanks, Miles above. Best of luck for the store. Yeah, we're excited. We're nervous. We're all the emotions. But yeah, we just thought this would be a fun live stream. It's kind of spur of the moment. A lot of these streams take a little while to pick up, but we're going to make ourselves available until everybody leaves. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask them now. This is the time. What's up, Nikki? Oh, we have a question.
Yeah, Jack. Jack says, will you guys be doing online store purchases? Yes. But I believe we want to have it so that locals get like a week or two.
I think as of now, locals are going to have a week. So ultimately our goal is to put out a lot of content, whether it's on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, of what comes in. And if we get really cool collections, obviously we'll do videos about them. But ultimately, I think that we want to make sure that locals feel like we're giving them a priority because we don't want to just be a store that is brick and mortared in a place without respecting the place, We want to be a part of the community.
I agree.
But we are going to absolutely do online sales. Part of being a part of the TMR community means that you're going to get access to all the really sweet records that we find, which is a huge perk. We are also working on some kind of Patreon thing where there could be like an early bird. Why did the screen just go black? What the heck was that? That was terrifying. An early bird thing where people can go and pay X a month to be a part of a group that's kind of like the VIPs that get access to stuff early if they would like to buy before the week embargo. But we're still working out how that's going to work.
Yeah, for sure. There's still logistics to hammer out.
Yeah, definitely. What is with this camera? It keeps going like dark.
Vintage live stream. How much is love of the business and how much is logic? Probably favoring love more than but I think that's every niche kind of store, record store. Do it for the love.
I mean, Roland and I feel like to open a retail business during a pandemic, you kind of have to love it.
You do, yeah.
Roland and I have been record collectors for many years, obsessively, and Roland is just as meticulous as I am when it comes to the taking care of records and the curation of his own collection. So
we both definitely have some unhealthy habits from record collecting that I'm sure many of you share as well.
Yeah, that's why we all get along because we're all just rabid collectors. But I think that the only aspect of logic I would say is that vinyl is doing well right now. Like, it is like every year sales are going up and up. Every store that I know is doing pretty well. People are constantly in record stores whenever we shop for ourselves. Like, the stores are, especially in Portland, like,
Oh yeah, one thing I always joke about before Matt moved here, the joked about like people in Portland work sparingly and are always out, and they're at the record store. That's one of the places they go, but it's kind of a funny thing. But yeah, record stores do. This is a good city for it.
yeah.
For sure.
And everyone here, the owners are all really cool. We've met a few of them throughout. Roland more than myself because he's been shopping here for a long time. But I've made friends with a decent amount of the owners, and everyone's super nice. Everyone wants to help out. It's kind of a community feel, and I like that. I want to be a part of that. And I think it's a cool way to get integrated. Roland's lived here most of his life.
Yeah, pretty much. I've always lived in Oregon. Lived in Portland like 9 of the last 10 years, and then just before that, outside of Portland. Oh, thanks, Tony. You saw the shirt. But yeah, I'm excited to be part of the community, and that I grew up with and cherish. So.
Oh, we got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions.
Let's scroll up. All right. How does one go about stocking a record store in terms of used and new records? That's a good question. So with our store, I think that predominantly it's going to be used records. I think that the margins are better on used records just because the prices of records in the aftermarket can be kind of all over the place, and used records can be found in bulk when you buy collections more often than new records, where the markups are very low. Like, with new records, you're competing, and this is talking with like other store owners that we know, like Saxon in the group and people like that. You're competing with Amazon. Like, your average person isn't a member of the Too Many Records YouTube channel, and if they see in our store, like, if we got a new record wholesale at, let's say, $15, and that's wholesale, and we have to sell it at $23 MSRP, Amazon might be selling it at $19, and it's like, they can afford those razor thin margins, but as a small business, we can't. So used is a lot easier, and I think more interesting. I think when you're digging at a store and there's a ton of used stuff, I think it's a better store. I mean, do you agree?
I would agree. And I think a lot of the bigger stores in the area, like Music Millennium and Everyday Music, people already go to those for the new releases. They're pretty on top of.
Right.
I don't think we're like completely opposed to it.
No,
but
here's the thing. Roland and I have pretty specific taste in music. So Roland is a huge electronic guy. He also loves indie and stuff like that, and like, he's not just electronic, but his knowledge is all like really focused on that. Obviously, I have a huge hip hop knowledge, like a lot of the more like obscure things like lo-fi and vaporwave and whatnot. But like, we want to curate a new section that's small, but stuff that we can personally talk to, like good records or records that are just obvious ones that sell all the time, like your Fleetwood Mac rumors and the stuff where your average music fan will come in and doesn't know a lot about vinyl, but is like, oh, I need that record. Dark Side, Zeppelin 4, things like that. But the other part of the question is, how do you stock used records? And to do that, you buy collections from people. And I have started dabbling in that. I've put out some feelers in the area, and it's been awesome. I've met some really cool, nice people who want to support an upcoming business, and I was up in an attic digging through cobwebs and spider webs, and I ended up coming out of it with about 300 amazing 60s, 70s, and 80s records. I'm talking like every Joni Mitchell, every Bob Dylan, every Beatles. It was like really a great dig, and that's going to be really cool stuff for the store. So
also, it helps to have too many records, which he does. He really does. If you ever get to see his collection, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Maybe we should do like a Willy Wonka thing where like once a year
there
could be a golden ticket where someone can come to my collection and like thumb through it, and maybe they get to like buy one record from my collection or something.
That would be really fun, actually.
And I'll dress up like Willy Wonka. Yeah. Will you be an Oompa Loompa?
Thanks. I've been reduced. That's my role here.
No, actually, we should both be Oompa Loompas. I don't feel like either of us should be Willy Wonka. It's unfair.
Yeah. You can't disgrace them.
Okay, there's more questions. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. Do we plan to start an Instagram for the store or YouTube channel? It doesn't make sense to me to start our mic is peaking. Hopefully this isn't like too loud for you guys. It doesn't make sense for personally for us to start a new thing. I think I've already spent a long time building up these socials, and starting something new would just cannibalize the audience that I already have. And we definitely don't want to spend the time building. We'd rather spend the time acquiring records than building up a social following when I already have a small one. So I think probably not. Is shipping going to be available to Canada and other international shipping? Definitely. Definitely going to be shipping overseas. Unfortunately, as you probably know, it's expensive.
It's pricey. I think Media Mail recently went up too.
Media Mail went up a small amount, but international is just wild. So ultimately what it comes down to is we are happy to ship anywhere as long as the buyer is willing to pay the price for shipping. And if it's an expensive item, we have to ask that it goes insured. We just can't risk an item going overseas without any kind of insurance, and that could be expensive. I mean, I shipped a 2LP to someone over in, I think England, maybe last year, and it was like $65 to have it shipped, or to have it insured and shipped, which is crazy. Nick showed up. Hey, Nick. What media formats will we be carrying in our store and selling?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Only 8-track.
Only 8-track. We do plan to have some CDs and cassettes for sure. Beyond that, I think it will just be dependent on what we find.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I'm a huge, you can probably see some of them in the background, but I'm a huge fan of screen print art, especially gig art and concert art. So I want to have a section of cool music posters, and I'm not, not like a, glossy poster you'd put up in a dorm room. Like, I'm talking like nice, high quality, screen printed, or Gisli, I don't know how you pronounce that. I think it's Gigli. I don't know, it's a French word, but they're nice paper. I think that'd be fun. It would differentiate. It'd give us a little something else.
I don't think any store, beyond the basic kind of typical posters you'll see.
Yeah.
That will be unique.
Yeah.
For sure.
How is shopping for a unit going? Good question. So we have just been sitting here on our hands waiting to be able to make the video saying we found the location. Because if you guys don't know, we do have an Indiegogo, which I will shamelessly promote right here, and I will pin this. If you guys haven't contributed, you still have 3 weeks, and we have a ton of really cool perks. We have shirts, we have hats, we have all kinds of fun stuff that are definitely going to be worth checking out. But we know the Indiegogo is right now based off of a concept versus an execution, right? So like once we have the store locked in, we know more people are going to realize it's a tangible thing. All I can say is that we're close. I think, knock on wood, we're close. We're in talks with our potentially dream location, and we're just waiting for the terms to be agreed on.
Yeah, we're really excited and really hope it works out. It's a really cool spot, just in terms of a lot of different strategic things.
Yes.
So, gotta wait.
We're getting close, though. I feel it. I feel like it's getting to a point now where we're in the next week or two, we're gonna either know if we got this place or if we didn't. I feel like there's not much more that can go on before we have an answer. So cross your fingers, because like as soon as we have the place, the content is going to be flowing. We're going to be talking about how we're setting up the store, asking questions about best practices, getting your feedback. Like, we want this to be a store that represents the interests of the vinyl community, right? Like of what people love in a record store. I've talked about what people don't love in record stores in previous videos, which we're not going to do those things. But I would love to know what the best aspects, and I think that's another video for the future.
I think so. That'd be a good one. Any questions from Record Store Geek? Location updates, gear?
It's a good question. I think on a case-by-case basis we'll sell gear. Like if we happen to like go to like an estate sale or a collection buy and we get a cool amp or turntable or speakers in, we'll probably put it in the store. But I don't know if it'll be like a regular thing.
I don't know that we'll go buy new turntables to resell. Yeah.
No, I mean maybe down the road if the store is really successful, we can like consider selling turntables that now here's the issue about selling turntables, and tell me if you agree with this.
Okay.
A lot of stores that I really respect, and I'm not going to name drop stores, but a lot of stores, they will sell a wide variety of turntables, new turntables, and a lot of those are not very great. But they'll do it because they have good ratings on Amazon, they sell well, and they're, turntables that entry-level people will get, and then, like, not, the Crosley-type tables. I don't think I want our store to do that. I think I want to be able to stand behind any product that we sell and be like, this will be good for your records. And, like, if it's a little too expensive for the average person, explain to them why.
Right.
Even if you can make a quick buck on the Crosley, I don't know if I'd feel weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd feel the same way. I don't think I would. I think we're in too deep in this hobby to kind of do that. And have you spoken about Crosleys on your channel before, right?
Yeah.
So,
it'd be a little hypocritical.
We don't want to do that. So
I just saw a super chat came in though. Janos is here.
Yeah.
Best of luck with the store.
Man.
Thank you. I'm glad you made it. I'm sorry that we didn't do the live stream an hour earlier as you requested, but I'm glad you made it. I hope you didn't stay up too late to do it. Let's go back up. Hold on. We have a ton of questions. Thank you guys all for coming and spending time with us and asking these questions. It makes us think people believe in us.
And thanks for staying until we figured out the technical issues out there. It was being weird.
Listening stations. No listening stations, but caveat. So the reason, tell me why there's no listening station. You know exactly why.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. Not everyone who comes into a vinyl, a record shop is familiar with a turntable and how to use one, and we feel like it might create an opportunity for damage, basically, something that we'd have to have more expenses on.
Imagine this. Someone asks you, oh, can I see that rare record on the wall? It's a $90 record. And they take it and they're like, can I listen to it? And I say, sure. And then they go and they with the needle and they just completely wreck it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but your average 16-year-old, when I was 16, that's something I would potentially have done.
Even before I really got to know vinyl records, that's something I might have done for fun in a store.
Yeah, like you don't realize that
think about
that will literally destroy the stylus on most turntables. So no listening station. However, I think we're going to stand by the idea that any record anyone wants to listen to, we will throw on for them so they can hear it before they buy it through the speakers in the store.
We'll have a turntable behind the counter.
We're going to be spinning records in the store exclusively. We're not going to stream. We're, keep it authentic. We're going to have something up that shows what we're listening to right now in case you want to buy it. So that's going to be cool. Will you be working full-time jobs and doing the store, or are you quitting your job? That's a good question.
You know what? That really depends on how this takes off down the road. But
I work a full-time job right now, and I plan on continuing to work that job. It just means that I'm going to work 2 full-time jobs. I don't intend on slacking on either side personally. I think that I'm just going to be working crazy hours, and at least with the record store, it's such a labor of love that I think I won't mind the extra work, and I think it'll be really personally rewarding. So eventually down the road, if the store really takes off like you just said, maybe it'll be my only thing, but it really kind of depends on how that first year goes, know.
But initially it'll be something we do in addition to what we already do. Definitely. So
curious if we like the bravery.
That's funny. I remember in the glory days of high school, I did really like the bravery as part of the whole New York.
Well, the Killers were my favorite band in high school, and an honest mistake when it came out, I thought it was a Killers song. Like I thought it was like and I remember hearing it and then being like, "Is this the Killers?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's the Bravery." And at that time, I was like, "Oh, they ripped off the Killers." But I think they're a solid indie band from that era. I think
they're very iconic of that era.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would say they should be mentioned in the same breath as some of the bigger kind of synthy pop bands of that era.
I don't think I ever listened to them after that first album though.
I probably should give it a chance. Here's this comment got hidden, but I'm going to show it. Do you have a holy wall built yet? I love that. I love Noble Records calling it the Holy Moly Wall, and now it's like I have people that message me and refer to the wall as Holy Moly Wall, irrelevant of Noble Records. Just like that's what it's become now, which is funny. So we're absolutely we're gonna have a really good one behind the register, and then throughout the store, the goal is to have walls of rare stuff above each section of stuff. So if you're digging in the rock, above will be like the rare rock stuff, and we hope to cycle it in and out as often as possible.
I think we have this dream where like, you go to a store and you're digging through the bins and you just pull out a bunch of stuff. You're like, oh, this is good, this is good. We want that to happen for anyone who walks in.
Yeah, I think so. The philosophy of the store that we both fully agree on. So a lot of stores, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, they look like they're just full of records, and it's like, oh my God, there's like 10,000 records in this store. But you're digging, and you're like, oh my God, most of these are just whatever. Like, it's just stuff you passed by. It's just filler. So I've said this 100,000 times on the channel, but a lot of my philosophy with my collection is all killer, no filler. I'm trying not to have records that don't either mean something to me or that I love listening to front to back. And I want the store to be the same. I mean, I want you to go in there and have every record you see be at least cool, whether it's something you want or not. And if you come back the next week, I want there to be more new stuff that you didn't see the first time. And that's not just in new arrivals, and throughout the whole store. I think having a smaller selection that rotates frequently is far better. There's so many stores that I've been to where it's like I go back 6 months later and it's like the same records in the bins, and I'm just like, what's the point of even going again? So that's what I want to avoid. I think that's a pitfall that a lot of stores fall into, and I don't want to do that. Would you agree?
I'm in the same boat.
That's why we're doing this. Yeah. We're boat boys.
Boat.
Do we have a website? So that's a good question. I don't foresee an actual like Too Many Records store site. I think that a lot of our sales are going to happen through social media, the Facebook group, DMs on Instagram, as well as the YouTube channel. I think all these avenues are, we're going to be very transparent, easy to reach. If you see a record you like, just reach out to us, and if it's within the window to buy, we can make it happen. I don't know if we're going to have a website, and I think that because we're not doing as many new releases, like sealed releases, I think it makes less sense to have like a storefront.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of similar stores, because I always think back to Limited to One, which you've talked about in your channel. I don't think he has a website, right? He does socials.
Yeah.
Final Form. Shout out to Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick rocks. So does Christian. All these stores are stores that we admire, and that they actually inspire us to kind of our strategy. Like Final Form and Limited to One are perfect examples of all killer no filler stores, where it's like they only have heat in those bins. There's no just swill lying around. It's all like really good stuff. So that's the goal. Oh, someone says nobody cares.
Nobody cares?
There are 70.
I'm sure people don't care.
There are 70 people who would argue with you, Joseph Bruno.
You care enough to comment.
That's true. Nobody cares until we have a record you want, and then all of a sudden you care a lot. Do you have a name for the store? Of course.
That.
Too Many Records. I feel like it's so perfect. It encapsulates the same mantra that I've been building for all these years, where I own too many records, I buy too many records, I want too many records, I spin too many records. Like and the store's gonna have too many records, too many good records, but also not too many records in the sense of what we just talked about with having garbage records. Interesting. But yeah. Philip, best of luck. Oh, Philip, I saw your Indiegogo come through on the donation. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Philip.
Philip's always been a stalwart of the TMR community, so thank you, man. Do we clean new records before we play them more than an anti-static brush? This is a point of contention between us.
I do. I clean every record that I get. Basically, I'll run it through, which has kind of become a burden in itself. You get a backlog, and inevitably you get like 20, 30 records behind, and you don't want to clean like just 5, right?
Sure.
But he has a different.
My philosophy is this: if a record looks visibly dirty, I'll clean it. I'll wet clean it. If it doesn't, I'll just use a carbon fiber brush, and if it sounds bad, I'll put it aside to be cleaned. I would say that the majority of my records with a carbon fiber brush sound great and don't need cleaning. I think that personally, when you clean every single record that you get, it becomes less of a hobby and more of a chore. And I think that ultimately you got to enjoy the music, and it can't just be so scientific. But I do think that a lot of new records do need cleanings because of the bad QC lately. So I would say in the store, we're going to clean anything ourselves that looks like it needs cleaning. We're gonna, ideally play test most stuff. Like, we're not gonna be able to play test everything that's like a $2 to $5 record. We're not gonna have time for that. But if there's anything of value that really comes in, we're definitely gonna listen and make sure it sounds good. Because I know some records that look thrashed and play near mint, and vice versa, where it's like it looks perfect and it sounds like garbage, and we want to make sure. And that's a question for a whole nother video that I don't want to get into in this live stream. But like, do you want us to grade them, or do you want to just have a price that it's relevant to the theoretical value based on that grade? Like, I don't know. Like, grading is subjective sometimes. So it's like what we view as near mint, you may think is mint or VG plus, and VG plus could be VG to someone. So it's like, grading. Do we want to spend the time grading them? But that's a whole nother video that I want to dive into down the road.
Feedback one,
yeah. Has anyone really been far even as decided to use even go want to do look more like?
I'm just gonna say no.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Do we plan to do record store day in the future? So someone asked that in a previous live stream, and my short answer is this. I need to learn more about how the process works for a store, because I'm concerned, based on talking to other store owners, that you get kind of forced to buy more than you really want to be able to play the game, and then you're stuck with a bunch of stock. And we're not going to be really operating with bags and bags of money to be able to just throw down on new releases. So
yeah, this is a tougher one for a small store, especially a startup, because we all go to stores, right? We all see like RSD leftovers from 2019, 2020, and they're just sitting there and they have to go on clearance. And I don't know if we can take that hit, at least initially.
Yeah. I do think we will absolutely celebrate Record Store Day with crazy sales and excellent stuff on the wall. Like, really, I believe in Record Store Day strongly as a way to celebrate your local record store, and we want to obviously support that. But will we have RSD releases? Maybe not the first year, maybe in the second year. It's kind of like we're going to play it by ear.
Yeah.
Someone told me how to pronounce the art print, gicle.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I actually didn't even know that term, so.
Will there be TMR merch in the store? Yes. We are actually making a bunch of TMR merch for the Indiegogo. We're making tote bags, we're doing slip mats, we're doing shirts, hats, pins at some point, all kinds of good stuff. And yeah, we're definitely going to have merch in the store. And if you get it on the Indiegogo now, it helps us figure out how many to order, because they're made to order. They're not going to be bulk stuff necessarily. We want everything to be high quality. Like these shirts, anyone that was lucky enough to get one of these first run shirts, they are comfy.
They're comfy. My wife steals mine to wear all the time. So
Nick,
otherwise I would have worn it today.
Nick double dipped and he got this and the tie-dye one because it's just it's so comfy. So we definitely, like, a lot of places, not just record stores, a lot of stores in general will just like mass produce their logo on a shirt and sell them, and it's like rough, like Gildan, like cotton, and it's like, I don't want a shirt like that, but a nice, soft, like well-fitting shirt, like that's worth the price of admission for me.
How many records do you have in stock?
Right now, I mean, we're still acquiring for the store, but if we were to open today, we would have enough to fill a store. We have probably 2,000 to 2,500 records put aside right now that are amazing. I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram, but I just acquired a collection of 500 jazz and Brazilian records, which is insane. I haven't had a chance to go through and make sure they're all clean. I'm assuming they're all probably VG plus, give or take. But yeah, we're gonna have the opening's gonna be heat.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
It'll be. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're not gonna want to miss that. I'll try to donate in October. Can't this month. Listen, if you can't donate, Lisa, we understand. It's times are tough for everyone these days. But anyone that donates, we're hoping that we give them something of value that justifies it, right? Will we carry box sets? Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I would think so.
Oh man, I lost all the questions. Yeah, yeah. Actually, I have a few box sets that I've put aside for opening. We also, as part of that jazz collection, have a Bill Evans 5-album box set. That's like it goes for like, on Discogs, it goes for like over $500,000. So it's crazy. So yeah, we're gonna have good box sets, and ideally, our pricing is going to be best available comparatively to whatever
Right.
So we're trying to like make it. I hate when you go to a store and you look up a record and it's like way cheaper online.
That is, yeah.
Because it's like, what's the point of supporting the store if
yeah.
you can go on Discogs and it's way cheaper? So it's like, we want to have competitive stuff where it's like you're supporting a store and we're still able to make the money to be able to stay open. But we don't want to have the pricing be like crazy and like way, way, way higher than the average price that a record goes for.
Are you going to sell good underground records and not just mainstream stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier in the stream, we're going to be focusing on used, so it's going to be a lot of not mainstream stuff. But there will be mainstream stuff too. I mean, it's whatever used stuff we stumble on, right?
It will be both. We both like very, I would say, underground niche areas of music. As Matt said earlier, I'm really into like left field electronic music that isn't mainstream. I would love to stock a lot of it. We'll see. But
we're gonna have Roland's Corner. It's gonna be like dark and shadowy, like how the camera just went.
Dark and shadowy. You can dance with your headphones.
You can dance and wear all black. He's wearing the uniform right now.
My corner.
I'm definitely gonna ignore that comment.
Oh man.
Will I post to Brazil? Yeah, we're gonna send anywhere that people want the records. Looking forward to coming up and visiting the new store when it opens. Looking forward to meeting you. It's been a long time of seeing your name, so thank you. Are we going to try to build a good collection of modern punk, emo, hardcore, like limited to one? I don't think we're ever going to lean into it as heavily as Christian does. Yeah. I think he really has his finger on the pulse of those genres, and for me, like I like emo, but punk and hardcore are not my specialty, and I know it's not yours either.
Not mine, yeah.
We definitely will have some, but it's really going to depend on what we find in collection buys, you know?
Yeah.
Will it have online purchase? Yes.
Holy moly wall. We can't
steal Dylan's name. I mean, yes, we also love the Holy Moly Wall, but Dylan, that's his trademark. We couldn't do it. Maybe we'll call it the Holy Moly Wall and put Dylan's face up there with like a link to his store and have a speech bubble that says the Holy Moly Wall. Rare record walls are lacking in Portland. You know what? There are amazing stores here, but I agree with you. When I go to most stores, they don't have a lot of rare records up on the walls.
I wonder why. Is it a trade? Like people aren't trading them in, they're selling them, or maybe the clerks are like, I want that. I don't know.
Final Form has some good stuff on their wall. Music Millennium has a couple of good stuff. But again, for a store the size of Music Millennium, I'm shocked that they don't have a much larger rare wall. Like Amoeba Hollywood, the rare wall is like 150 records spread around the store on pillars and on walls. Like, it's kind of surprising. So we're going to remedy that. We're going to definitely be, because I've also noticed that stores here will have walls of records, but they'll just be normal releases. Like they'll just be like, $20 to $30 records, not like anything like out of print. So I think it's, for me, I always love going to a store and seeing what like the rarest stuff is there. Like that's always exciting and it's tempting and it's,
Maybe they sell the rare stuff online more. I really don't know. But yeah, Tony, you're right. It's something I've known. Not that there isn't stuff to be found, because I've found some awesome stuff.
Oh, that's the thing. It's in the bins too. Like a lot of Portland stores are putting the rare stuff within the bins. Like I flipped into like $100.
Sure. But it's not like Amoeba where every wall's like, whoa. Right.
And that's my favorite kind of store.
Yeah.
Because it's like down here is all business, up there is all like dreaming, all pleasure.
Luxury goods.
Do you guys like Ice Age? I've never really listened. They're like more like hardcore-ish, right? Post-hardcore?
Yeah. I think I listened to one of their albums. I would say I enjoy them, but I'm not super into them. Was it Beyond? Is that something? Am I making that up?
I don't know.
Anyway.
By the time we see his response, we have to go through all these other
he's
questions.
Gonna be like, you don't like Ice Age. That's what he's
Posers. My record store is constantly rotating new arrivals, and their whole wall behind the counter is rare or expensive pressings. Yeah, that's our goal. Mm-hmm. That's what we want to do. Any Nas records? I mean, yeah, we're going to definitely have Nas records. I'm a hip-hop guy.
He's the hip-hop dude.
The hip-hop selection at the store is going to be prodigious. It's going to be super dope. How do you secure the inflow of new inventory? I mean, you got to hustle. If you watch Noble Records, he has a video about how, like, tips for buying collections. It's a really interesting video and well done, but it's really hustling. It's finding unique ways to put the word out there that you buy collections, and it's also right time, right place, getting lucky, finding someone who maybe needs money at that time and they're willing to part with a really good collection for less than if they were to price it out. Because the thing about buying collections is that you get it for a nice discount because the burden of selling it falls on you. Like, you buy this collection and now it's up to you to get the true value over time. People sell collections when they either need money or they need space or they're moving and they just need to like get rid of it, right? Like, if someone didn't really care about selling their collection really fast, they would just go through and sell it piece by piece. Yep. So you can get a good deal on bulk buys, which is how stores say as stores. But it's all about timing. Like, I know Saxon, my buddy who owns Wax Records Inc. in Vero Beach, Florida, he says that it's crazy the collections that just come into the store. Like, he'll just be working and someone will pull up and be like, I got 3,000 records in the car. Can you look at them? And it's like sometimes crazy stuff, And if they bring the records to the store, they're not going to want to bring them back. So
right. That happens all the time. I see it in other stores when people bring in their giant, like their wagon full of old records. I think living in Portland too, people really love their small businesses and record stores here. They like to help them out when they can, and that's going to be huge for new inventory.
Yeah,
versus another city or something.
That's what I discovered when I started reaching out and trying to find collections, is that people are just like really excited to support an upcoming small business, and that's why Portland is the perfect place to do the store, because like, obviously, I lived in LA and New York for a long time, and beyond just those being extremely expensive cities, Portland just has such a more community-minded, headspace when it comes to this stuff, and they're very small business forward, and I just think that's going to help us out.
Yep, definitely.
Stoked to see the store in person.
Moving to Portland.
2023.
Hey,
we'll be established by then.
Any advice for moving to Portland? It depends on what kind of advice we're looking for. We have a lot of good food. We have a lot of record stores. I will say it's probably, the cost of living has gone up a lot. It's not as cheap as you might think or expect.
Yeah.
But it's still cheaper than like LA, New York, Seattle.
Yeah. But yeah, Portland's been great. I've been here since December. Big fan. Will we have many used records? I love the people that are just coming in and missing the live stream. Mostly used records. Good luck, guys. We need new stores. Thank you, Scott. I'm not going to respond to that one.
That's attractive.
Roland's attractive.
Oh, thanks.
Is there a possibility we'll be carrying the 1 a.m. study session from Lo-Fi Girl? I have a copy of that, but that is a $300 record, and I love that record. I don't have any plans to sell it. If one day the store is tanking and we need to make rent, maybe you'll see that in the store. But that's a great compilation of lo-fi, and it's like iconic because it's the first one of the series. So I don't know if I would ever get rid of it.
If that happens, we'll find you, Diego. We'll need that rent.
Oh my god, how many questions are there? Because someone just said graded, and we were talking about grading records like 15 minutes ago.
No.
Are you both going to be manning the store every day, or do we want to hire others to have more time? I think for the foreseeable future, it's going to be just us and, my girlfriend, his wife, maybe. I don't know if she would ever want else, but maybe. If need be, like there's going to be time when I'm going to look for collections, or, he's busy with, other gigs. So yeah, the hours are kind of interesting. We're trying to flesh that out right now, like how we're gonna. Our goal is to be open 6 days a week, probably like 11 to 7.
11 to 7 is pretty,
give or take.
Pretty typical here.
But we also have to be flexible with the idea that if we get a collection buy that's like someone's like, oh, we got 5,000 records and it's 2 hours away, we might have to shut the store down early to go pick it up, because that's it's worth that investment of time versus. So yeah, eventually down the road, employees, but the store needs to rise before we can justify that.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot of our hard work. Will there be any Mumford & Sons?
As likely as them having Imagine Dragons vinyl.
I don't think we're going to sell any Mumford & Sons or Imagine Dragons at the store.
If either of them go in a dark electronic direction, I might. I don't think they will, though.
You guys are awesome for opening a record store during this troubling time. We're awesome or crazy. It's one or the other or both. I'm not going to answer music questions that require me to think, because that's a good question, but I don't want to talk about that right now. How are we going to go about pricing records related to the Discogs medians? I think it's going to it's going to be a case-by-case basis for records. Like, for example, if there's a record for sale and there's one on Discogs in near mint condition for $60, we would price it below that. We would price it probably at $50, right? Or something.
Yeah.
If there's a record for sale that has nothing on Discogs and it's like the only one available, you kind of have to figure it out. You got to figure out where that price falls within the spectrum. Like if there's no way to buy it and it's like the only copy, you set the market, right? So we can put it up for as much as we want, but it doesn't mean it will sell. So like maybe we'll put up that record if it had sold in the past for 150, maybe we put up for 120. And if it doesn't sell, we can always lower the price. But that's the kind of game stores play, is that the aftermarket changes so rapidly these days that it's impossible to know if a record's going to go up or down based on all these extraneous factors.
Definitely, but we will definitely do our very best to keep up with the market, because obviously, like you mentioned earlier, we don't want people to, why not buy it online then, right? You know?
Right, yeah, yeah. The goal is to keep on top of it and make it as fair as possible. Like, we need to make money to be able to keep our lights on. And eventually maybe do this as our full-time job forever, right? Like, that'd be a dream.
That's the dream.
But we also don't want to gouge people beyond what the market dictates, you know? As someone who owns their own store, you wish us the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you have some extra cash for buying stuff. Yeah, that's what we have been hearing. It's like always have cash at the ready. It's, you know, somewhere, because you never know. Like with Saxon, like if someone just walks in with a collection and you don't have the cash on you, you know, you don't want to miss those opportunities. You can have records from the 50s and early 60s. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't think we're going to have the bins full of them, but I'm a big doo-wop fan, so if we find any cool doo-wop comps or, you know, doo-wop bands I like, I'll throw those in the bins. Janosch says, where are you reading the questions? You can't see them in the live chat. We see them on the side. I don't know.
They're on the side. Brian said, what artists or styles of music will you carry? That will surprise people.
Oh, I missed that question. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
What styles of music that will surprise people?
Abstract, ambient.
What's the weirdest electronic subgenre that you're into?
That's a tough one. I mean, that's a tough one. There's.
What's the noisiest, least accessible electronic music?
See, I don't think
Death Tech House.
Death Tech House. I don't think there's anything I really listen to that isn't already popular somewhere.
Well, yeah, but that's a cop-out.
To answer that, that's
it's
a cop-out
popular
question.
Within the electronic community, but
Let me think.
What's a genre? What's a title card that you would see and be like, or someone would see and be like, what?
Like just noise.
Yeah. Do you listen to a lot of noise stuff?
I actually don't listen to a lot of noise stuff. Like people will always mention Murs, but like I enjoy it, but I don't dive into it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people will be surprised at how large our video game vinyl section's going to be.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a lot of cool stuff there. Beyond the things you usually see. Well, we have a British section. I mean, we'll probably have a lot of British artists, but I don't know if we'll have like a specific like Brexit, you know, like its own little like sequestered.
We'll probably have some vaporwave. I know that we have some vaporwave fans in here, Tony.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
With Tony, when you're visiting, we'll bust out the vapor grails.
Yeah.
Are we going to have dollar bins? Yes, we will. We will definitely have dollar bins, because when you buy collections, you know, there's a lot of stuff in collections that isn't valuable, and it still could potentially interest people who are just getting into vinyl and just want to start their collection and just get records. So we'll have dollar bins. I don't think they're going to be like all over, but we'll have a few.
Definitely.
Are we going to be tempted to buy more records for ourselves now that we're buying for the store?
It's going to be. What's your motto right now? What's the motto that you're mentioning?
Oh, yeah. Every time I buy a record now for myself, in the back of my head and out loud, I'm like, oh, if I don't end up liking it, I'll just put it in the store, which is like scary justification to not resist any pre-order.
Is already there.
But it's true, though, because if sometimes I'll buy a record because I like the artist and I haven't heard that album, or they'll just be like crazy hype and I'll just be like, well, if I don't get it now, it'll sell out. So sometimes I'll buy a record and then I'll listen to it and be like, oh man, I don't actually love this. But now if we have a record store, that becomes store stock, you know, like, and there's complications around how that comes into the store, but we don't have to bore you with the logistics of business. But yeah. Congratulations. Thank you. Will there be Kanye? Of course there will be Kanye. I feel like we'll always have 808s.
He's not gonna let that.
Always have 808s stocked in the store.
Beyondless, yeah.
Will we carry Psych? Oh yeah, definitely. Um, have we thought about doing a dig room like with
I'm not
Agartha from
familiar, actually.
Minneapolis? Well, that's where I was just
Okay.
at in the store. They have a back room that's just like, I don't even know if it's priced, but just walls and
Oh,
bins of just
wow.
like kind of cheaper, less. It's like a dollar bin
Okay.
room. I don't think we're gonna have the space for it.
Yeah, I
If we
don't.
get the space that we're targeting, there's
Yeah.
not gonna be like a separate room for that. But it's a cool concept for sure. How are you going to value records that come in? We kind of answered that before, but ultimately, I mean, it's an aggregate of every source online, right? Like if it's out of print, it's PopPsych, it's Discogs, it's what it sells for on Facebook Marketplace or like in Facebook groups. Like it's kind of just having our finger on the pulse and doing our research to make sure it's a fair price for everyone involved, right?
A lot of that I think we've all learned by just trying to buy and stay on top of new releases, right? So
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. Are we gonna have R&B? Oh yeah.
For sure.
But no R. Kelly.
Right.
Will we have special edition records or regional albums from Japan? I mean, yes, if they come in collection buys, but it's expensive to import,
Yeah, I don't
even
know.
wholesale.
I don't know that we'll target that for like distro or something.
Yeah, it's just like maybe if like we end up meeting someone who can give us a really good deal on doing import stuff. I mean, I know him and I are both big fans of like a lot of like import labels, but I don't know. It's just I don't know if that's necessarily what we're going to. Yeah. Please let me be your punk section consultant. Is that Ricky? I can't tell. Probably. Are we going to provide an outer sleeve with every record? Every record that's not in a dollar bin will have some kind of outer sleeve, and we're still figuring out how we're going to sleeve all the records. Like that's all huge like kind of like headache of like how do you do it with price tags and keeping it safe. But and that's something that we're going to do a video about too. So like I said, if you guys just join the live stream, when we have the location locked in, which we'll reiterate because we talked about it before there were all these people now, we're getting close. We're in talks with our dream location. If we don't get it, we'll get another sweet one. If we do, amazing. But as soon as we have it locked in, we feel like we're a week or two away from knowing one way or the other.
Hopefully, right? Fingers crossed.
The air just turned on.
Oh, the air.
It's loud.
Let's see. Any Funkos? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, we might have like a miscellaneous collectibles area, but I don't know if we're gonna specialize in like Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Would we like to have an artist performance area in the store? That is a major function.
We love that idea.
It's not just an idea. It's like as we're looking at places, it's mandatory that there is space for an artist to perform. Portland has a ton of musicians. I have a record label. And we want to have in-store performances, and if they blow us away and they have an album, we can then maybe sign them to the label and press them to vinyl and share them with the TMR community. It seems like a really perfect fit.
There's a lot of avenues there.
Avenues there, and yeah, we definitely want to have in stores because there's value for a small musician to play a show to 40 people that don't know who they are, because then it's intimate. You get to meet the artist, they build a connection, they tell their friends about it. It's great. It's even better than like just a random bar or open mic because like people are going to the show to support the store, but also to support the artist. And I think we want to definitely have that for sure. Oh no, I just lost that. Here we go.
Put it in the store. Yeah.
What are our views on bootleg records? Will we carry them? So we're not going to like distro through like Rolling Recs or like do like carry them like and put them in the bins. If we have bootlegs from our personal collections that we put in the store, we might put them in, and we're going to be as upfront as we possibly can. At the very least, when someone goes to buy it, we're going to let them know that this is an official release. I don't think we're going to carry too many of them. I think it's a little bit of a gray area, and we want to be careful.
I'm not a huge bootleg guy, so I'm not maybe because my favorite types of music don't get bootlegs, so it's not something I've ever had to dive into.
I will say that some of the most interesting visually and sonically records in my collection are from the video game bootleg scene.
That's where you get that.
And I think we're going to have a good amount of those, and there are other stores in the area that sell them as well. I think as long as it's not like over the top, I think it should be fine. I mean, we're not the ones that made them, you know. It's not.
Right.
We're not. I don't think we're on the line for that. But
Yeah. Yeah, there's different categories of bootlegs.
you're not gonna go. You're not gonna dig through and pull out a Slipknot Iowa bootleg and in the store.
No.
You know, it's just. It's probably just not gonna happen. How difficult will it be to separate your wish list from the store inventory when something you want comes in the store?
Very,
Very.
difficult.
We're addicts. We have a problem. I think that, I mean, if there's something that's absolutely like on the top of our want list, we're gonna take it for ourselves, and obviously we're gonna buy it. We're not gonna like just get it for free.
That's why people open stores partially, right? They get the pickings. Yeah.
I know people that work at record stores like Amoeba, and they're like, yeah, like we get to see so many crazy things come in, and it's like hard to resist. And I'm like, yeah. So I mean, my want list at this point is not as big as you would think, and it's all fairly like really rare stuff. So if I find something that comes in or like in a collection that's on that list, it's probably something I won't really stumble upon again. So I feel like I wouldn't be able to turn it down. But I guess we'll be able to talk about that more in a year from now. You know, like a retrospective. Congrats. We wish you the best. Your channel is so educative and informative. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Jerry. Appreciate that. Why is my Instagram profile picture black? Right now, Kanye West is following people who have black profile pictures, so I just did it to see if he would follow me, just for fun.
Did he?
Not yet, but it's happening slowly.
It's
It's a slow trickle. He's up to like 1,500 people from like 2 weeks ago, so whatever. It's fine.
Jazz question mark.
Jazz? Oh yeah, we're looking at 500 records and boxes of jazz right there. Right there. Hey guys, you're living a dream. Best to you. Thank you, Cave.
Thank you.
We're in Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
And the
Portland.
store, and we're hoping the store will be open by mid-January.
Will you carry 12-inch extended remixes for DJs? That's a tough question. With 12 inches, to buy new 12 inches and then destroy them, that's a hard one. I buy a lot myself because I don't DJ. I did before, but I enjoy a lot of singles that are on 12 inches only. I don't know that we'll carry them. That might be a little too niche in the immediate future. If someone comes, if you come to the store and demand them a lot, we might.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't complain personally.
I don't foresee us stocking. Yeah. There's like a DJ specific store here in Portland too. Yeah. I don't foresee us stocking that. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be, you know.
Yeah.
That's a world where I also don't know what's valuable and what isn't. And to me, a lot of singles are like dollar records because I don't know them. So it's like it's hard to justify filling up space in the store because they take up almost the same amount of space as an LP. But you never know. People are asking about my haul from the record fair. I'll show the haul real fast. I won't go too far, and then we'll answer a few more questions, and then we'll call it. But yeah, went to the record fair today. Found some pretty dang good stuff. Found this Pink Floyd Knobs, which is a bootleg. The reason I bought it is I try to buy any reasonably priced bootleg that has Animals songs. The track list is fantastic. I mean, you got stuff from Wish You Were Here, stuff from Dark Side, and then pretty much all of Animals. So I'm excited to hear this. It was only $30, so hopefully the sound audio quality is pretty good. But that's the kind of cool stuff you find at record fairs. You can get like cool like classic bootlegs. Weatherman by Gregory Alan Isakov, classic record of his. It was only $7. Great deal. This is Teebs Collections. Great electronic producer. We're both huge fans. This was only $10. Good deal. This is a very rare record that is marked down significantly because there's a huge scratch. So I'm going to play it to see just how bad it is. But this is The Naked and the Famous. Or The Naked and Famous, Passive Me, Aggressive You. This is easily a $100 record, but it's $20. You know, I don't know if it'll play through that scratch, but guess we'll see.
Is there a hit song on that?
It
is, I think.
Yeah. I forget what the name is. It
Youngblood? I think it's Young.
Jilted Lovers? No.
Why can't it?
I can't think of the single.
The
but yeah, that's their big record.
Yeah.
Got some Foles, Total Life Forever, the blue and white. pressing. This one was the spendiest record I got. It was 40, but I think that's still a really good deal. Actually, I haggled with this guy, so I got it for a little less than 40 because I bought a bunch from him. Echo Smith, Talking Dream. This is a band that you saw live here.
Right before the pandemic, they did an in-store performance at Music Millennium. I got to meet the band and
Rainbow Splatter.
They autographed my record. They're really nice people.
Yeah. And this one's autographed too, and it was only $10. It's good. Yeah. It's good pop music. They're talented. So that was a cool find for $10.
Cool kids.
And then this one is one of the first records I ever owned back. I'm covering Roland. Ever owned back in the day when I first started collecting records. I got this back in 2013, I think. Letting Up Despite Great Fault on Together, really good kind of like chill wave record. And I lost it at some point. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I sold it at TMR Fest. I forget. But $3. Cool. Good buy. And then this was my craziest buy, which he's making fun of me for. I had been looking for this for a reasonable price for like over a year. This is Coldplay's Prospects March, which is a EP they did around the Viva La Vida era. Some of their best songs are on here. Life in Technicolor 2, Lost Plus, the Osaka Sun mix of Lovers in Japan. It's just such a great extension of what I think is one of their best records. And it was $5. You can't find this in the States at all. Like, it's always like insane overseas, like $30 shipping plus like $30 for the record. So $5. I hopefully it doesn't have like a defect I didn't realize. Like, I'm gonna listen to it and have like all these skips. I don't know. But that's my haul. Roland got nothing.
I didn't get anything today.
More like self-control and
self-control is a good thing sometimes. Also, it was cash only for a lot of it, and I didn't have much cash on me.
Fair.
Yes.
All right, let's see what else. We got a few more questions we're gonna answer. Yeah. We'll be selling City Pop LPs, HMV, Light in the Attic, Ship to Store. Again, we're not going to stock a ton of new stuff, so I don't think for the distro stuff we're necessarily going to have it, just because the margins are so low and we don't have all that capital to be throwing into new stock. Some of these questions I'm going to skip because we've been asked. So if we skip your question, we answered it already, so go back after this live stream and go watch the stream. Let's see.
Audio equipment repair. I would say neither of us are knowledgeable enough to repair audio equipment, but we've got a couple of great stores that do it in town.
Yeah.
One of them we met the founder today.
You don't want me fixing your receiver.
Yeah.
A good way to raise funds: release a digital comp of TMR artist songs on Bandcamp. That's not a terrible idea. Like I mean, I have to get all the artists, okayed with it because our contracts are pretty much handshake deals because they're all friends or just cool people that, we don't have like a distribution beyond the record agreed to. But it's definitely a good idea. I don't personally buy digital music anymore, really, so I don't know how, if necessarily that many people would do it, but it can't hurt, if the artists are down, it's free to try. As another record store owner, you wish us the best of luck. Thank you. Email us with what store you're at. Maybe I'll come visit and do a video at some point.
That'd be cool.
What neighborhood will the store be in?
Yeah, we're looking at most of the stores in Portland right now are in Southeast Portland. It's kind of where the audience is. Southeast Portland meaning one of the neighborhoods like Belmont or Division or Hawthorne, basically. It's going to be one of those. The spot we're looking at is in the Division area, near a lot of cool restaurants and bars. So fingers crossed once again. Landlord. No. Landlord's cool.
Yeah, we're crossing our fingers that we lock in that place. Will we be doing jazz as a priority or incidental? Probably more incidental after this initial burst. I mean, the 500 records we have here will last us a while, I think, but we don't know a lot about jazz personally, so we're not going to be like digging at collections or fairs or wherever we go, and we're not going to be knowing exactly what to get when it comes to jazz. So incidental probably. Living now outside Chattanooga, Tennessee. Love the vinyl, but new colored vinyl they sell seem to have some kind of distortion. Good luck. Thank you for the good luck. I would say that that's a bit of a blanket statement. You might want to check your setup to make sure it's not your turntable causing the distortion, because I get a ton of new records in for my personal collection and most sound great. So colored vinyl or black. So sometimes it can be your setup that's causing issues. It's definitely worth looking into. I'll notice that on Discogs, people will leave comments on newer releases and be like, "Oh, it skips," and then someone else will be like, "Yeah, mine skipped too." But it's like, if I got that record, there are no skips, and I'm like, okay, well, it's probably their setup, you know?
Yeah, that's it can be a subjective thing. It's tough to navigate sometimes, right? You don't want to say that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
The dynamic duo, we're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Just like this live stream.
Just like we killed this live stream. All right, I think this is a good amount. If you missed the beginning, we answer a ton of questions, so please go back and watch the rest as soon as we end this. But thank you guys so much. Again, if you want to support the store, check out the Indiegogo. If you can support, we really appreciate the help. But there's gonna be a ton more videos in the near future about the store and how we're planning to make it, and we're going to be really building to this grand opening, and we're super excited and thankful that you guys you care and you want us to succeed, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone so much.
We'll do another stream soon. This was fun, lots of questions, so we'll definitely do it again. Go spin something electronic for him.
Do it.